So today we will see about Numpy and Pandas. So these are the most important libraries in Python. So these are nothing but they like uses arrays lists inside, but we should import them separately. So coming to Numpy. So what do you mean by Numpy? So Numpy is nothing but one of the Python library. Okay, so as discussed before, it is one of the Python library. So why is this used? So actually it is used for working with arrays. So to work with arrays, this Numpy is used. So here we can use a number of functions like linear algebra, etc. Okay, so actually this stands for Numpy. Okay, this is the keyword we use, which is nothing but numerical Python. So its actual meaning is numerical Python. So Numpy means numerical Python. So now we will get it out like why we use these numpys. So in Python we have lists, arrays, etc. Okay. So list serves the purpose of arrays only, but they are very slow to progress. So we use numpys to work on arrays and list fast, very fast. So it gives 50x times faster than the traditional Python lists. So numpy is 50% faster than traditional Python lists. So this is one of the most important advantage of NumPy. So yeah, so why is it faster? So why is it faster? Because here it is stored in only one continuous place, unlike lists. So lists are stored in different places. Lists are stored in different places, but numpy is stored in a single location, stored in a single location, so it is fast. That's it. Okay, so which language is numpy written in? So numpy is a Python library, so it's written in Python, but it can include C language and C++ also. Okay, so this is mostly, I mean, an overview of what is numpy and everything. So now how to import a numpy? So it can be imported using simply like import numpy, and then now we are going to declare an array. Array is equal to numpy dot array of 1, 2, 3, etc. So we import numpy, we declared an array, and now we are going to print of array. So our meaning is please print the array which I have typed. So what output you will get? You will get 1, 2, 3. So it's similar to arrays, but we are just importing this numpy library. So the main importance of importing this is it's very faster than arrays or traditional lists. It's at least 50% faster when compared to them. Okay, so instead of importing like this, we have another method. So other method of importing numpy. So what is the other method of importing numpy? Instead of using import of numpy, we can use, okay, I'll go to the next page. So instead of using this, we can use import numpy as np. So we can use import numpy as np also while importing numpy, and remaining program will be similar. So this is the second way of importing an numpy library. So this is one of the example. And next thing, what we are going to do is we are going to do two tasks in a one program. So in this, we are going to print the array and we are also going to print the type of array. Okay. So what we'll do here is to print array and type of array. So how to do this? It's quite simple. So again, here I am doing import array numpy as np, print of array, and now I want to get the type also. So I'm getting print of type of arr. So this type is similar to if you give type, if you give list like 1 2 3, and if you give type you will get list. If you give characters like abc bcd, you will get that class as string. So that's the type. Okay, so if you give print of type of array, and if you give the, if you want the output, first what we will get, it will print the array. What is the array being used in this particular program? It's 1 2 3. So it will print the array 1 2 3, and then it has to print the type of array. So what is the type of array? Actually it's an numpy array, so it will print like class, and the type of array is numpy array. So numpy and array. So this is the way how to print which I mean the type of array and printing the array itself. Okay, so this is the example to explain that. And next thing, till here we used we used an array. Okay, so here what we are going to use is, now I am going to pass a list, a tuple or an array like object into the array. So instead of a list, previously we passed a list into an array. Now what I am doing is I am going to pass a tuple into an array. So you know what is tuple, right? So tuple is nothing but something which is displayed in the circular brackets like 1 2 3 etc. Okay, now what I am going to do is using a tuple to create an numpy array. So using a tuple to create a numpy array. Okay, so how we will do? First importing an array. It's simple, like import numpy as np, then array is equal to np dot array of. So I'm declaring a tuple. So I'm declaring a tuple as 1 2 3, and then if I give print of arr, the output will be 1 2 3. So what I'm going to say is the main motto here is like we can not only use a list into an array, but we can also use a tuple into an array. So that is my main motto. Okay, so actually if you take an array, there are a single dimensional array, two dimensional array, three dimensional array, etc. Okay, so if you take an array, there are one dimensional arrays. So here I am calling dimension as d. Okay, two dimensional arrays and three dimensional arrays. So what do you mean by one dimensional, one dimension is nothing but declaring an array 1 comma 2 comma 3. Two dimension array is we get two types of lists. Okay, so we get 1 comma 2 comma 7 comma. If we, this is two dimension, what is 1 by 3 dimension? 3 dimension is nothing but 1 comma 2 and then 2 comma 9, 9 comma 7, 9 comma 8. So what I'm meaning to say is one dimensional array is thing which contains only one list. So array contains list, it contains a tuple or anything. Okay, so it contains only one type of list. Two dimension contains two, three dimension contains three. Okay, so while creating a tuple, we can use a two-dimensional array, three-dimensional array, or anything. Okay, so now I will show one example using two-dimensional array. So everything will be similar, but there will be only a small change. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm using a two-dimensional array. Using two-dimensional array. So what will I do? I will use import numpy as. So I will use import numpy as np, and then here I am declaring a two-dimensional array. So in two-dimensional array, I have to give two lists. So I have given two lists, and then print of array. Okay. So if I give print of array, what will be the output I will be getting? So I will get 1, 2, 3, 9, comma 7. 1, 2, 3, 9, comma 7. Okay. So I'm just telling you how to give a two-dimensional array. Okay. So this is the concept. So if someone asks what are the different types of arrays, you can simply say like one dimension, two dimension, three dimension. And if there are some differences between them, you can happily explain this. Okay. So these are the different types of arrays which are used in Python. Okay. So till here it is good. So what are the other concepts we use in this NumPy? So previously I have been discussing about indexing, a concept called indexing and slicing in my previous topics. If you take a string, if you take a list, if you take an array or anything, I have been discussing this topic. So how indexing works in this particular NumPy. So first we are importing NumPy library, and then I'm declaring an array. In an array, I'm giving np dot array of, so here particularly I'm declaring a list. So what is meant by indexing is I discussed it before. Print of array. So this is nothing but I have told you before, right? So this is the 0th allocation. This is the first allocation. This is the second allocation, and this is the third allocation. So if I give array of 0, I should get 1. Array of 1, 2. Array of 2 is 8, and array of 3 is 9. So here the output will be 2. So I'm going some little fast in this topic because it is discussed a multiple number of times. Okay. So I have told this here because indexing is applied in NumPy. To just show you how an indexing works, I have explained this example. So other topic is like concatenation. Concatenation. So the concept of concatenation is nothing but addition of two strings, two lists, two tuples, or anything. So this concatenation can also be applied in NumPy. So how it will be done? How to apply concatenation? So if we take this program, if we give plus array of 2, this is nothing but concatenation, right? So what is the array of 1? Array of 1 is 2. What is array of 2? Array of 2 is 8. So 2 plus 8, 10 will be the output. So we can even apply a string concatenation which we use in strings, a list concatenation which is used in list in NumPy also. So these are the different types of functions or methods which we use in NumPy also. Okay. Okay. So now you'll get it out. Okay, sir, everything is fine. So now if I want to do indexing on two-dimensional array, or whether it's a three-dimensional array or something like that, so how to do? So that's a good question. So now I will explain briefly how to do indexing on a two-dimensional array. So if we discuss about two-dimensional array, it will be very good with 3 dimension, 4 dimension, etc. So sorry, 3 dimension and 1 dimension. So for this example, I am going to take a two-dimensional array. So I'm taking a two-dimensional array. So here actually, if you have only one-dimensional array, if you give array of 1, you will get 2. But here there are 2 arrays. So how the program or the computer or the compiler will understand this is, we'll declare in this type. Okay. So we'll give print of. So if you want to get the value of 3, it's nothing. What is 3 here? Okay. So 3 is nothing but the third element, right? So 0, 1, 2. So it's the third element, but the allocation is 2. So generally, to understand in our language, we can write like third element third element on the first row. Third element on the first row, comma, array of. So if you want to get the index of the first array, you'll give as 0. So 0 is the ranking. So if you take 1, 2, 3, how we are indexing ఎట్లా చేస్తున్నారు? So 0th allocation అంటే 1, ఫస్ట్ allocation అంటే 2, సెకండ్ allocation అంటే 3 కదా. సో ఈ అరేస్ లో కూడా ఏంటి, 0th array ఇది, ఫస్ట్ array ఇది. సో అలా తీసుకుంటే మీకు ఏం కావాలంటే array of 0, 2 అంటే ఏంటంటే మీకు థర్డ్ అరే అంటే 0 అరే అంటే 0th array అంటే ఫస్ట్ అరేలో సెకండ్ ఇండెక్స్ లో ఉన్న ఎలిమెంట్ కావాలంటే మీకు అల్టిమేట్లీ అవుట్పుట్ విల్ బి 3. ఓకే. సో అల్టిమేట్లీ అవుట్పుట్ విల్ బి 3. సిమిలర్లీ మీరు ఇక్కడ అరే ఆఫ్ 1, 1 అని ఇచ్చారు అనుకోండి. సో 1, 1 అంటే ఏంటి? 1, 1 ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ in the first allocation array, I mean first allocation array. So first allocation array is nothing but the second array, ante kada, which means second array. Andulo second element ante second array. Second element ante enti? Second element ante 1, 2. Second element ante first allocation 0, 1. So second element ante first allocation lo unna element. So first allocation. So don't confuse between an allocation and an element. So ultimately 1, 1 means it will go to the first array. So this is the 0th array, this is the first array, and the first I gave 1, 1. So 1 is nothing but 0, 1. So 1 is 7. So we'll get the output as 7. So this is the way how you use indexing on a two-dimensional array. So if you have a three-dimensional array, 0, 1. Third 3-dimensional అంటే ఇక్కడ వస్తుంది కదండి. సో we'll give that number as 2. So if you give 2, 2, it will go to the second array and the third allocation, second allocation and the third array. Okay. So like that we use indexing on two-dimensional, three-dimensional arrays. So in the same way we can use negative indexing, positive indexing, anything. So just go through the previous topics and apply those everything here. Okay. So mostly everything can be applied here. So again, the same thing works. So if you give array of 1:5, it will print the elements. It will print the elements from 1 to 4, but not 5. Okay. So you have discussed those 1 to 4, but not 5. So these are all concepts works in arrays also. So in this Numpy also. Okay. So please try these concepts because these concepts were explained in the previous topics very clearly. So if you go through those topics, that will give you the answer. So this is much about Numpy. So we have seen how to create a Numpy, how to create a Numpy, and what are the different types of arrays, and what we can use in a Numpy. Like we can use list, we can use arrays, we can use tuples also. So we have seen this. So instead of this, even we can use strings and everything also in an array. Okay. So we can declare the data type, we can do indexing, we can do slicing and anything. Yeah, so I think these are the most important topics related to NumPy. So as a fresher, they will expect this only. So there are some other concepts like reshaping. So there will be more complex. So those are all not needed in this point. So till here it's good. Okay. So now we will discuss something about so now now we'll discuss about Python pandas, a brief introduction. Okay, so this is one of the advanced topics. So this you will get like a 2 plus 3 years, 2 3 years experience. One only will be using these concepts and all. Okay, so as a fresher, they won't expect much about you, but it's good to know what is what. So pandas. So what is pandas? So coming to pandas again, pandas is also again one of the library. Okay, one of the Python library. So it is also end of the day, it is also one of the Python library. End of the day, it's also one of the Python library. So it's mostly used for analyzing, exploring, and manipulating data. So it's used for analyzing and manipulating data. Okay. So if someone asks you what do you mean by pandas, you can say like it's one of the Python library and it's used for analyzing and manipulating of data. Okay. So what do you mean by analyzing and manipulating? So this pandas actually allows us to analyze big data and make conclusions based on statistical theory. So it can be used for analyzing a big amount of data, like a big data sets, so it can make them readable and relevant. Okay, so if there is any relation between columns, it will get the maximum value, it will get the minimum value, etc., from the pandas code database. So how? So like importing NumPy, how do you import pandas? So it's simple, import pandas. Okay, so we'll import pandas. So this is the way we import pandas. So now, as I discussed it before, it is used for getting the values of big data sets. So how is this possible? So a data set is nothing but, what is meant by data set? A data set is nothing but it contains keys and values. సో డేటా సెట్ అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ ఒక ఎక్సెల్ షీట్ తీసుకోండి. ఎక్సెల్ షీట్ తీసుకుంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక స్టూడెంట్ డేటా కావాలనుకోండి, స్టూడెంట్ రోల్ నెంబర్ స్టూడెంట్ నేమ్ తీసుకుంటే, సో దీన్ని బట్టే కదా దీన్ని ఒక టేబుల్ గా తీసుకుంటే, ఇప్పుడు రోల్ నెంబర్ అనుకోండి 1 అని ఇస్తాం. సో వాట్ ఈస్ హిస్ నేమ్? సో ఇన్ పర్టికులర్ టు దట్ రోల్ నెంబర్ హీ విల్ హ్యావ్ ఎ స్పెసిఫిక్ నేమ్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ గివ్ రోల్ నెంబర్ 2, in specific to that roll number he will have a specific name. So let's take like your name. So if we go to 3 and if you go to name, so they will have other specific name. So these are nothing but the keys and value pairs. So roll number is attached to one particular name. So roll number 1, roll number 2, roll number 3, these are the keys and these are the values attached. So what Python does is it illustrates those keys and value pairs we give in the form of a table or in the form of a data or something. Okay, so now we will see how actually a pandas works in displaying the keys and value pairs. So now what I am doing is I am simply importing pandas. So we can use import pandas or we can use import pandas as PD. So here I am declaring one data set. So in data set, I am giving keys and values pairs. So I am declaring one keys pair and one values pair. So I am giving cars. So in cars class, so I'm declaring one cars class. So in cars class, I'm going to give the name of the cars. Okay. So in cars class, I'm going to give the name of the car. So I'm taking two types of cars, namely BMW. Okay, BMW, and I'm taking, sorry, Yeah. Yeah, so as told before, I'm taking like BMW and I'm taking Ford also into account. Okay. So for this car's keys, I'm taking some values. So what are the values I'm taking into consideration? So for this cars, I'm taking values. So I'm taking like number or something. Say, so how many number of particular cars I have. So if I take a numbers thing, so in numbers, I'm giving how many of them I have. So BMW, I have two, and Ford, I have eight of them. So if you take this and if you give printing data set, okay. So here we won't directly use print of this data set. So for this data set, I will assign a variable. So I am assigning my variable as this data set. So here I am giving pandas dot data frame. So this is the keywords used here. So dot data frame of my data set. So I am declaring this data set under this variable name. So after declaring, I will give print of my variable. Print of my variable, my var. So now you will get the output. So what will be the output? You will get the output as, so first you will get serial number 0, 1, 2 like that. Okay. So you will get 0. So you will get cars and numbers because we have given those, right? So cars, what is the cars we used? BMW, how many? 2. Next what? Ford, how many? So this is what I have told you before. So it gives in the form of a table. So this is the most importance of pandas. Okay. So mainly for getting the keys and value pairs, we will use pandas. Okay. So now we will see about what is meant by panda series. So the next concept is panda series. So here what we are going to do is we are going to give only one list. Okay. So here we'll give only one list and see how it prints in the form of a table. So here what we are doing is import pandas as pd. So we are just importing pandas, and then as I told before, I'm going to take a single list which is nothing but 1 comma 7 comma 2 or something. And then what I'm doing is, again I told you we can't print a list directly, we can't print a string directly in panda. So we have to assign this to a particular variable name which is imaginary. So I'm taking, and then pd dot, so we use pandas dot series. So printing that as you used it before, series. What is the series we have to print? A. So we are taking the variable a into account. And then if you print my variable, what is the output you will get? 172. So actually if you take anything, if you take a list, if you take a string, if you take an array, it you will get the output as 1 comma 7 comma 2. But here it's different because it prints the outputs in the form of a data set. So how will get 0? 0th allocation is 1, and in the first the it is 7, right? So it will give 1 comma 7 comma 2, but it will give like serial number. In the serial number 0 it is 1, in the serial number 1 it's 7, and the serial number 2 it's a 2. It's 2. And then it will give the data type. So what is the data type here? We use numbers. So what is the data type for numbers? Int, and the bit used here is 64 because this bit is, everything is defined based on the system we are using. Okay. So this is the concept of pandas series. Okay. Yeah, this is the panda series. This is also one of the important concepts. So if you are someone ask you what is meant by pandas, pandas is a thing which gives the output in the form of a data series. So if you give keys and values pairs, it will give them keys and value pairs in the form of a table. If you are using a pandas series, if you give a list, it won't give the list in the form of a list. It will convert into the form of a table by using the serial number like 0, 1, 2, etc. So this is the way you should use this pandas. Okay, so this is about much about this pandas data series. So here we can play with pandas in different types. So now I will give you a quick example. Okay, so now we are discussing something about data frames. So data frames is also nothing but key value pairs only here. Okay, so but they have declared like different concepts in pandas, but they are nothing sim, but all are same. Okay, so everything is in key and value pairs, and every output will be in the form of a data set. So if you take data frames, so I will give in the form of an example so you can understand that very clearly. The first thing I'm doing is I'm importing pandas. So I'm importing pandas as PD. So after importing pandas as PD, I'm taking some data. So in data, I'm taking some values like calories and duration. So calories burnt and duration. So how many calories you burnt in how much duration. So calories as keys and duration as values. Okay. So in calories, I'm taking a list. So in a list, I'm taking like you burn 230 calories once and 450 calories once. Okay. And next, duration. So how much duration have you burned this particular calories? So duration is like 23 minutes and 7. So it can be like 23 minutes and 24 minutes. Okay. So this is the data you have declared in a pandas. So the next thing what we are doing, we have to declare a variable name, right? My var. So here we'll get panda dot. So what is the thing we use? We have data frame. So we can give like panda dot data frame of data. So data is the thing we have declared the calories and duration. Okay. And then we'll give print of my var. So if you give print of my var, what you will get? So previously, if you take only a list, what you got 0, 1, 2 serial number. So here also the same thing. Okay, so here we are getting in the form of calories and duration. But before that, we will get serial number 0. So in serial number 0, what you will get? How many calories? 230. Those 230 calories are burnt in how many minutes? 23 minutes. And then the serial number is 1. Under the serial number 1, how many calories are burnt? 450. Those 450 calories are burnt in how many minutes? 24 minutes. So this is the output we'll get. So this is the major concept of Python frames. So sorry, pandas frames. Yeah, so this is the concept of pandas frames. Okay, so in this way we can use these pandas frames and we can get the outputs simultaneously. So one of the more important thing in this pandas is like pandas can read CSV files. So what is meant by CSV file? So CSV file is nothing but like CSV file is nothing but an update to an Excel file or something like that. Okay, so this thing also you can remember. Okay, so you can load the CSV file into a data frame and we can view that. Okay, so if you load that particular CSV file into this, we can see that in the output. Okay, so what we should do here is CSV file. So here what we'll do is the same thing. We'll use import pandas as PD. And then we'll define df is equal to pd dot read అంటే ఏంటంటే pandas రీడ్ చేయమని చెప్తున్నాం. రీడ్ CSV ఫైల్. ఈ CSV ఫైల్ ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందంటే ఇట్ విల్ బి ప్రెసెంట్ సమ్వేర్ ఇన్ ద సిస్టమ్ అనమాట. సో డేటాలో ప్రెసెంట్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి డేటా డాట్ సిఎస్వి అని ఇచ్చి క్లోజ్ చేస్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ స్టెప్లో ఏంటంటే ఈ సిఎస్వి ఫైల్ లొకేషన్ ఇస్తాము. సో ఈ సిఎస్వి ఎక్కడి నుంచి రీడ్ చేయాలి ఈ సిఎస్వి ఫైల్ అనేదాన్ని. సో ఈ దీని యొక్క నేమో ఏదో ఒకటి ఇస్తాం. సో డిఎఫ్ డాట్ టు స్ట్రింగ్. సో ఇది దాని యొక్క నేమ్ అనుకోండి. ఇస్తే ఇది ఇచ్చి మనం రన్ చేసామంటే ప్రోగ్రామ్ని ఆ పర్టికులర్ అది అనేది ఆ సిఎస్వి ఫార్మాట్లో ఉంటే మీ సిస్టంలో ఓపెన్ అయిపోద్ది అనమాట. సో అంటే మీరు జస్ట్ ఈ పాండాస్లో సో ఈ సిఎస్వి ఫైల్స్ని కూడా చెయ్యొచ్చు అని మీకు ఒక నాలెడ్జ్ ఉండాలి. ఓకేనా. సో సో యా సో ఈ పాండాస్ ఏంటంటే అండి, సో ఇట్ కెన్ రీడ్ బోత్ సిఎస్వి ఫైల్స్. సో పాండాస్ కెన్ రీడ్ CSV and JSON format files. So you should remember this also. Okay. So what are the two types of files that a Python pandas can read? So it can read CSV files and JSON files. Okay. So it's like an important point. Okay. So Python is also used to clean data. So pandas are also used to clean data, cleaning empty cells, etc. Yeah, it can be used for removing duplicates, but these are all complex things because we have to dig into some 60 GB or 100 GB data sets, and then we use some complex libraries. So now you need not keep up yourself with this everything like plotting and everything. Scatter plots also we can do in pandas and everything, but you need not go that deep. So till here it's enough. Okay, so just brush up the basics and then you can create a and you can go ahead. Okay, so this is the much about NumPy and pandas with simple examples. So yeah, so by this I have completed most of the Python topics. So from tomorrow I will explain about some points on GitLab. So coming to GitLab, I will explain some Linux commands which will be helpful, and then I will show you what is Jira, and then I will show you what is a Python, one of the Python frameworks like Flask or Django. So then we will be completing our course, and then we will be good to go to apply to job. So mostly 2 or 3 days I will complete all the topics. I will complete all the topics. So I'm copy and pasting these notes into the WhatsApp chat so you can view it. Okay. Okay. Thanks.